Lateral Thinking Puzzles Part 2. Let's go for it. I am so sorry, everyone. The last time I did this, I did enough lateral thinking puzzles that I was able to make 2 videos for it, so here we are again.
There were 2 Americans waiting at the entrance of the British Museum. One of them was the father of the other one's son. How could this be so? Whoa, what? This one is based on a familiar theme. You either get it quickly or not at all. It does not lend itself to a long line of intelligent questioning. It boils down to this simple question: how can 2 people have the same son? They were husband and wife. A man entered a house. There was no one else in the house. He walked into a room, stopped, and then slowly raised his hands above his head. After a moment, he turned around, let out a laugh, and left. Why? Was he frightened when he raised his hands? Yes. Was it his house? No. Had he heard a sound that made him raise his hands? Yes. Did he laugh because he was surprised and relieved? Yes. I feel like I make this face after I find every single answer. The man was a burglar intent on robbing the house. When he reached the library, he heard a harsh voice say, "Hands up!" When he looked around, he saw a parrot in a cage. The day before yesterday, Frida was 17. Next year, she will be 20. How is this so? I'm thinking about my before and after. Frida has to have 3 birthdays between the day before yesterday and the end of next year. There's your hint. The end of the year. So the birthday has to fall around the turn of the year. You should be able to get it from there. The statement was made on January the 1st. Frida's birthday is on December 31st. She was 17 the day before yesterday. She was 18 yesterday. She will be 19 this year and 20 next year. What is it that a baby has more of than an adult? Is the answer something abstract such as innocence or expectations? No, the answer is something physical that a baby has more of than an adult. Dang it. Does the number that the baby has reduce as he or she gets older? Yes. Does everybody have them and need them? Yes. Are they a body part? Yes. Clue. Oh, I know this one. By this clue, ironically, a baby has 350 of them, as an adult has about 206. A baby is born with some 350 separate bones. As the baby grows, some of these bones join together so that in maturity, the same person has only some 206 bones. Ben Jonson was a great English poet and playwright who lived from 1572 until 1637. Why was he buried in a sitting position? They have a little cartoon picture of it. Why was he buried in a sitting position? Had he asked to be buried in a sitting position? No. Was it usual for people to be buried like that? No. Extremely unusual. Did it have something to do with his profession? Yes, I'm going to check that in a bit. Was he buried in a normal church graveyard? No. Ben Jonson, being second only to Shakespeare in his eminence as a poet at the time, was buried in the Poets' Corner of Westminster Abbey. The plot that was allocated to him was so small that he had to be buried in a sitting position in order to fit him in. So close! A few years ago in the USA, a young man hijacked a passenger flight at gunpoint. He ordered the pilot to fly to a different airport and radioed his demands to the airport authorities. In return for the safe release of the plane and hostages, he asked for $100,000 in a bag and 2 parachutes. When the plane landed, he was given the bag of money and the 2 parachutes. He then instructed the pilot to take off again and to fly at a fairly low altitude towards the original destination. When they were over a deserted part of the country, he strapped on one of the parachutes and, clutching the bag of money, leapt from the plane. The second parachute was not used. He was never found. The task of the police is to find that hijacker. Your task is different. You have to answer one question. Why did he ask for 2 parachutes if we assume that he only ever intended to use one? Did the man change his mind during the course of the hijack? No. So he always intended to leap out of the plane on his own? Yes. Maybe he was going to take a hostage? Did he carefully choose one parachute in preference to the other? No. Did he ask for 2 parachutes in order to deceive the airport authorities? Yes. Did he do this to protect himself? Yes. The hijacker asked for 2 parachutes, it is believed, in order to deceive the authorities into thinking that he intended to take a hostage. They therefore gave him 2 good parachutes. Had he asked for one only, they would have known it was for him and could have given him a dud parachute with a hole in it. By asking for 2, he eliminated that risk. Once he knew he had 2 good parachutes, either would do for his escape. One day, a man received a parcel in the post. Inside, he found a human left arm. He examined it carefully and then repackaged it and sent it to another man. The second man examined the arm. He then took it out to the woods and buried it. Why should they have done these things? Did each of the 2 men have only one arm? Yes. What? They both have one arm? Did the man who sent the parcel have only one arm? Yes. Did the sender amputee his own arm before sending it through the post? Yes. Did he do this willingly? Had all 3 been present when the first 2 had lost their arms? Was it in the form of an accident? No, I am now more confused. The 3 men had been together on a flying mission in the Pacific. Their plane had come down and they were adrift for many days in a dinghy. They had some water but no food and were gradually starving to death. Eventually, out of desperation, they agreed to amputate their left arms in order to eat them. They swore a solemn oath that each would have his left arm cut off. One of the 3 was a doctor, and he amputated the arms of one and then later of the other of his colleagues. Just before his turn came, they were rescued. However, his oath was still binding, and he later had to have his arm amputated and sent to his colleagues for them to see that the oath had been kept.
Thank you so much. We'll see what next week brings. Be safe, everyone.
Went too far, went too far. 1.13, so close. The day before yesterday. I'm also waiting because I know there's a car outside.